Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Sulaiman Rahim here, Master of the Covenant, breaker of seven seals. Brothers and sisters, I have a few topics I'm going to touch today. I'll probably elaborate them maybe later on in the week, but I just want to cover a few things. Right? Just point out a couple of things that you may not be aware of or may be confused about. But again, fear. You have to understand what fear is, bro. It's a mental, right? I mean, it's emotional also, right? But when you lose control of something, that's where fear comes from. The more control you have of your situation, the more peace, the more comfortable you are. But the less control, the more fear you have. Fear is a result of control. I try to get people to understand what's driving this reality, what's driving the universe. Understand pressure, energy, but how condition pressure. If you understand pressure, the angel opens up to you. Because I keep telling you, everything in there is, they talk about pressure in just very detailed ways. Because pressure comes in all kinds of forms. So once you understand the basic idea, right? It's like, for instance, you take and put a pot on the stove, and turn the fire on it. Well, you expect something to happen because you're a prophet, right? You say, okay, that's going to boil in about 15 minutes. Well, you prophesize. Why? Because you know how this works. And so once you understand our reality is based on pressure, you should be able to do that without danger. I mean, certain things, right? Because once you understand danger, just get you to work out. It's a gym, get a mental gym. But the underlying principle here is pressure. Anyway, we're going to talk about this fear a little more in detail in a minute, but fear, we've been under fear for 500 years. They put us under extreme fear because we had no control of ourselves. We was in constant fear 24 hours 7. 24/7, like it says, when the day comes, you wish it was night. When night comes, you wish it was day. There'll be no peace, no rest. Right? And that's what they did to us. And now they're trying to, like I had saw this woman today, right? I'm going to talk about that, not directly, but indirectly. Well, because, Trump is want to rewrite history. Because they all want to do that. That's part of the fear. Because they don't want people to know what they actually did. So they want to, because when I was growing up, I mean, there was no history. Black history was pretty much a page, and you was running Africa, bone your nose, and Tarzan, that kind of stuff. But now history is coming out, and he wants to take and have schools not teach it. That's critical race theory. That's harmful. Oh, your history is harmful? I'm gonna move on. Let me move on, brothers and sisters. See? And now blacks will rise up again. I told you that would happen. The demons, it's going to get a lot worse. And remember, everything I say, everything he does is going to backfire. They claim he's going to have some meeting this weekend. It will backfire. Anyway, fear. The fear they put us under, because now America is losing power. So fear, and Trump is the painkiller for fear. The Prozac, or whatever you want to call it. Amen. Because he's going to alleviate that fear. I'm going to alleviate that fear. Make America great again. When was it great? We're going to stop all that critical race theory and all that stuff. See? Fear. We'll talk about that in a little more detail in a few minutes. And that's the name of the game for now. I mean, fear defines everything from now on. unto their destruction. See, when you understand pressure, it's very. I'm gonna talk about it in a minute. It's the basic things you just understand. You see, but you have to understand how pressure works. And so, if fear is they lose control, that means America's becoming great. If fear is going and more intense, more intense, more intense. So now you just go, okay, you know the principle, but now you get into the quality. What's the quality of this fear? What's the quality of the pressure? Is it destructive pressure? Constructive pressure? Let's move on, brothers and sisters. They tell you, it gives you some idea of intensity. Because it says men's hearts refill. That means it's going to be something's going to happen that's so intense. A loss of control. See? And read into it. It says men's hearts filled for fear of those things, another anticipation, right? Because America's, if we're talking about America here, right? He says, because the powers have me shaken. So he wouldn't be fearing if it was the enemies, he'd be fearing if their power was shaken. So that means America's power is going to be shaken to the extent that's going to cause their hearts to fail. Hearts themselves to fail. That means strokes, seizures, so forth, on an epidemic scale, all over America. How intense will that be? And that's the anticipation. Of something that they see going to happen in the Middle East. That's going to shake them to the core. I already warned you, tell you what's going to happen. Because they're losing control. That means if they lose control, that means someone's getting control over them. See, control is not something just lay there. No. Is it night or day? Is it left or right? Right? So power doesn't rest. If you don't control yourself, someone else is controlling you, period. It's just, that's the way it is. So that means not only are they losing, but someone's gaining control over them that they don't like. An enemy is gaining control over them. That's what it's saying here. Enemy is getting control of America. Oh, America can't be controlled. We're superpower. We're an indispensable nation. Yeah, well, you're losing control. Someone's getting control over you. What does that mean? One brother says this. And so he's the prescription. Take Trump. Take one tablet every day. He's going to alleviate the tension. He's going to alleviate the fear. But he's going to do all these things. He hasn't done anything yet. Or he's creating a lot of confusion. He's writing his own obituary. Because all this stuff, these things are going to have everybody say, man, if these things work. No, they're not going to work. He hasn't accomplished anything yet. All these executive orders and everything, he hasn't accomplished anything. All these tariffs and everything. See, remember, he's talking this stuff, he's putting stuff out there, but they haven't got returns yet. We have a meeting with Iran, it hasn't got returns yet. It's just stuff he's talking. He's going to stop the, Ukraine one day. He's going to stop the Middle East. Okay. Here, brothers and sisters, I was working quite a bit. All day again. And power is gone, because that's where it stands. Right? This power is counterfeit because someone else is getting control of America. That means they have no power. And it's to the degree that it makes people fail, hearts fail. America's losing control of itself. Someone else got control. I'm restore the wisdom of the wise. That's what's happening. See? Because the wisdom they had was the wisdom when they had control. They don't have wisdom for that wisdom will not work when they're out of control. When they have when they've lost control. That's another way of looking at it. Okay. Everything they do will backfire. Everything. The day is over. They're winter people. They was designed for the winter. That's it. The winter's over. It's spring now. So you can look at this again. I slowed down some. Just look at this. Momentous in the heaven and earth, but coming above a sudden. There's energy waves coming back to Earth. See Earth heating up. This is what Trump is fighting against. Because that's what's happening. Everybody's being more energized. Everybody gets stronger. So they have collisions now. But the weaker form cannot survive the collisions. That's them. They're superior, but they might not be survive collisions. It's the backfire. You can read at your own leisure, brothers and sisters. Right? I'll get to my points here. Now here, when you read the angel, understand it says, Son of Man, he's got to take on the whole world, the whole entire world. So he had time for any bullshit. He's got to defeat the devil, he's got to defeat the demons, he got to defeat Ishmael, he got to defeat Esau, he got to fill the goat. It said all this, who can make war with the beasts? That's him, that's America. God can make out. These 10 kings will make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb overcome them. That's the burden he has on him. Remember, because that's the Ancient of Days. He takes control of everything. My sisters. Okay, let's consider this for a minute. The earth. Say the earth was luscious, the entire earth. There's food everywhere, right? It's a paradise, food everywhere. Animals everywhere, and food of all kinds everywhere. No deserts, anything, just plant life, everywhere. Well, if that's the case, right, a form of something like capitalism could not exist. Because why would you go work for somebody when there's food everywhere? You ain't gotta, you want something to eat, it's right there. Anywhere you go, there's plenty of foods. Apple trees, orange trees, grapes, vines, everywhere, Everywhere you go, there's food everywhere. Okay. Now, what if you understood the mathematics of the universe? Then you wouldn't need a religion either, would you? So religion is an attempt to try to define, understand how it works. But once you have knowledge, you don't need religion. You see what I'm saying? You understand where I'm going for this, brothers and sisters? This system they have is only based on the reality of energy deprivation, that seasonal energy deprivation. So you have to have a capitalist system because there's not enough food for everybody. You got deserts and everything like that, right? So somebody gets control of the food, and if you want food, you got to do what they tell you to do. So work. They can be cruel or they can be like did us, right? Took everything from us. And then didn't feed as much anyway. I understand that, brothers and sisters. I'm trying to get you to understand how these systems just don't, okay, capitalism wouldn't work in that situation. I mean, why would you work for anybody? You got food everywhere. Come on, brothers and sisters. Consequence, war against consequence. That's what the devils are fighting. They're fighting against consequence. Can't win. Every reaction has opposite, equal reaction. There's no exceptions. So if you've done evil, it will come back your way. There's nothing you can do about it unless you change that law. Every action has opposite, equal reaction except for this situation or whatever. Except it's false Israel, right? And it says they will be cast down during the war. I just told you about, right? We're in heaven. Once that happens, all this stuff happens like dominoes. And we know it's happening any day now. It means all these things going, and they're not going to delay. Because all dammed up. Once that dam breaks, stuff going to go flooding out. Who can stand pressure? And look at this. Let me just throw some concepts out at you, brothers and sisters. See here? Now what I'm saying is, all these are under the same amount of pressure. Black man, the brown man, the white man. Okay, just look at that way. Same amount of pressure, right? So the pressure is the red, and we're all under pressure. So what happens here? See what happened here? Wait, what happened? What did happen? I messed this up. Okay, what happens is, okay, I don't know if you noticed, right? But under identical pressure for all of them, this one was pushed out of existence. This one was oppressed, and this one remained as it was. See, so what's going on here? What I'm saying is that we're all supposed to the same amount of pressure. There's different qualities, but we're all under the same amount of pressure. And so we're saying this pressure that exists is going to crush the devils out of existence. And the next group, right, they'll be a subordinate. I'm trying to show how the same amount of pressure affects different people. So when you understand that, and then you understand the makeup of different people, they tell you things. Like, the devil's got the weakest structure. Right? So that helps you understand what's going on in the world right now. Because you say, okay, nothing they can do. You can mess with the quality, but you can't mess with the quantity. Some more processes. I talked about this baptism. I'm not going to talk about it right now. I talked about this yesterday or the day before. Keep this short, brothers and sisters. Okay, and that's what's happening now. See, Mr. Trump, he's caused division, and he doesn't realize war is on the horizon. And he say, oh, no, everybody has to pay attention to him. And now look at Malachi now. They read Malachi. Malachi is supposed to be the book that pointed out Elijah Muhammad, right? But they're not teaching Elijah Muhammad's teaching us. I give them $1,000 anyone who can prove that. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn the oven, and all the proud ye all that do wickedly shall be stubborn, and the day that cometh shall burn them up. And Lord God hosts lead them that it shall leave them with root nor branch. Okay? So you got there's no root. Oh yeah, right. No branch. Well, you got just a tree trunk. But what is it telling you here? It says, will lead them neither root nor branch. Well, that goes the same thing that says, fear not him which kills the body, but not able to kill the soul, but rather him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Well, that's what it's talking about there. So neither root or branch. That means whoever cut off, right? Anything that's offspring from them is gone. No branch. And no root. They can say, oh, well, let me just hold on, no. So they're wiped out. What we understand, brothers and sisters, that's what it's saying. This is Malachi. It said, neither root nor branch. And I tried to explain that the other day. Right? And they mainly attacking our females with this. Right? The root nor branch. Same thing. Okay, this is the same thing again. Okay, brothers and sisters. Now, this is the conspiracy. And that's what you need to understand, brothers and sisters. The conspiracy is planning against you. And it says to come as a snare. They don't want you to know about it. If I wouldn't tell you, anybody wouldn't know. They're planning against you consciously. Consciously. He said unto the people, behold, the people of children of Israel are more mighty than we. Come, let us deal wisely with them. They say, multiply and come to pass that there forth out in war they join unto the enemies and fight against us and leave out the nation. I see what my whole word in it. See, that was Elijah Muhammad's teaching. That's not Farrakhan's teaching, because he says, oh, no. He got a whole different idea, right? He got a whole different idea, right? Because Farrakhan, listen to what they're saying here. Now, they were saying that their fear, this fear of us, you understand that's what he's talking about, right? And said the fear, that's democracy. Oh, that's what it's saying. Because if it says, let's say multiply, the more multiply we have in democracy, right, the more say we should have. That's the idea. But he says, no, they don't, he worried about the multiplying, right? And it came to pass that was, and there falls out of way and joined to a cup. Okay, I get to the next page, right? That's the thing, he says, the idea, he says, they worry about you multiplying, that's impact on the democracy, right? And they don't have faith in you that, well, we'll see in a minute. They multiply you come to pass that there falls out of war. Oh, war happened. That war's about to happen now in the Middle East. That's what he's talking. They don't put it in there because there's big kerfuffle a while back with Facebook and this guy. Right? Anyway, therefore thou and thou join unto our enemies and fight against us. So see, what's Farrakhan saying? First, just Farrakhan saying, right? He says, if there's a war, we're going to fight for America. Babylon says, okay. So you wouldn't have any problem with this, would you? You understand what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? So they said they were planning against you because they don't want you to do this. They said you multiply. A war falls out with the wars, but remember, this got to be the war talking about where harsh men's failing, right? And they fall. See, yeah, it says, that disaster happens, and then you join on the enemy, so the enemy will be attacking them, right? And then you turn on America. That's exactly what Scripture says is going to happen. Right? Because all the evil they done to us naturally. And this woman, she was like, oh yeah, man, white folks bad for us, but some of them, she the one deal, she gonna get enough to hook. No, that's gonna come to screeching halt in a minute. And then it talks about different things. So the first thing, you can read at your own leisure. It applied abortion wasn't working fast enough. Hold on, brothers and sisters, for a minute. I don't know, they did something. This is weird. brothers and sisters, so I'm going to keep this short, just talk on a few points, and then I intend to elaborate on them later on in the week. But the point here is to shake up your thought process, because try to get you to understand how your thought process is very faulty. Okay, hold on. Okay, for instance, let's see here. I'm gonna keep it short. For instance, if you had an idea of paradise, which you never had an idea of paradise because you didn't know the world was a paradise, but when you understand, that's it, you gotta start putting things together, brothers and sisters. When you understand where oil comes from, then you know oil had to be, the place where they see deserts, they found that oil, used to be paradises, because they couldn't be dead, and it had to be paradise for millions of years. Millions of years. Nobody ever told me anything like that. You know? I mean, you know, that's here. I'm not in some place beyond sun, moon, and stars. Right here. Earth had to be a paradise. See? So, because that's where all comes from. It's decayed animal and plant life. Had to be abundance of it. And it found under the sand. So that means if we're saying all the time, that couldn't happen. It was just some animals, one and two, that couldn't happen. It had to be a lot there. Because look at all the pulling out. Once you understand, say, wow. See? Well, that makes you think, well, heaven must be right here. Secondly, just a couple of things. Secondly, that capitalism capitalism wouldn't work in a paradise. There's food, stuff everywhere. So it had to work for anybody. I mean, you know, it's like you know, you're being, if you're being, it had to work for anybody. So you're powered. So you see, they show it's a temporary system. It's a system during a time when the earth was devoid of energy. Well, how did the earth become devoid of energy? See how they ask these questions. And we start doing that, and it starts falling in place. You understand? That's outside of the angel. That's just observing, pay attention, say, okay, it used to be a paradise. It's not a paradise now. How did it get like that, right? And that means this system they have right now is a temporary system, because it wouldn't work in a paradise, right? Okay, and some more things. I'm going to touch on a couple of points here. Maybe you can connect the dots on your own. It says, now it says, let's deal with them shrewdly. Now listen to this here. This is Mr. Farrakhan. It says, come, let's deal shrewdly with them, lest they multiply, come to pass. That's democracy, right? It fears you're multiplying. Because if you multiply, they lose control. You see? Remember I told you, the more control you have, the less control you have. The earth is so big, right? So when Adam for a period have control, that means everybody's lose control. You understand that, right? And so how could Adam have control? It means have control of everybody. So it means other people have to lose control for Adam to have control. So I'm put a rule on the earth. That means he's taking people losing control, because Adam's going to take control from people. People be losing control. It means they could be in a state of fear. I'm put a new ruler. That means he's taking control. And by definition, by doing that, he's going to put the people that's taking control of them in fear. If you're taking control from them, you can think or not think. It's up to you, bro. It's your choice. At least multiply and come to pass, and that's hitting that democracy, right? Because they don't want democracy. Only if they control. See? Because otherwise, why would they care about you multiplying? It's democracy, right? I told you it's all a sham. Right? And it comes to pass that there falls out of war, and join an enemy and fight against that leader. See? Now, if you take this and put Farrakhan next to that, he said just the opposite. See, what he's saying is, hold on. saying, what is he saying? He's saying, right, if war falls out, no, we're not going to fight. We're going to fight for America. That's what he says. You see? Because they're afraid that we'll fight against America. He said, no, we'll fight for America. That's what he said. Because our land, we got to fight for it. That's what he says. We got him on tape saying it, right? And it says, they're joined unto the enemy. He says, no, we're going to help America. See, and then, so, but he said they're our enemy, right? We're going to help them. If a war breaks out, right, we're going to help them, people that's been slaving us and beating us, his people. Remember, that's no story together, his father's the devil. And lead the country. He said, we're not going anywhere. Think about it. He's addressing their fear. See, it was easy to point that lion dog out. See, he's addressing their fear. He said, no, we ain't gonna fight. We ain't gonna do that. We're not gonna lead the land. We're not going nowhere. And we're not gonna help join the enemy. And we're gonna fight for you. See, I'm just saying some points, brothers and sisters. So people don't want to think. If people claim they was thinking, they ain't thinking, because that right there, they could have sort of looked in there. That's a powerhouse right there. Without me having to tell them. That's something they could have thought of themselves and gave a presentation on that. I explained simple. It's simple right there, but they didn't do that. See? So what does that mean? We move on. I don't want to waste time with that anymore, brothers and sisters, because, right? Because that's simple. That's exactly what Farrakhan's saying. Give them exactly what they want. No, we ain't going to do that. We're going to fight for you. We're going to fight against your enemy. And we're not going to leave the land. We're going to stay right here. Exactly what they said they want. That absorbs their fear, because they feared it, right? See? And the war is breaking, it's about to break out. But no, yeah. Their fear was, hey, no, don't worry about that. We're not going to join the enemy. We're going to fight for you, with you. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't going anywhere. I told you he's working for them. You're going to see in a minute. Because all these people they're ignoring this and you're going to see an internet overload in a minute. Everybody be going, hey man, let me look at my messenger. Because they ignoring the message and everything else. Oh, they're going to be all over in a minute. Too late though. It's an abortion. I was one of the techniques to get rid of that. And the Democratic Party you love so much, that's exactly what they want. Abortion. Let's abort them. See? But you love the Democratic Party. Remember, they're dealing shrewdly with you so you can't see it coming. So the one you identify with is the one that wants to abort you. That's one of the ways to get rid of you. That's one of their first plans. If that don't happen, right, the next one is throw you into the river. See? And they couldn't do that until Farrakhan said, hey, yeah, we're going to fight for you, because when they lied to you, they wouldn't be able to do that because you was exempt for the draft. Right? That puts all things together. Why China? Why they didn't? Remember, they made China powerful. They come out, oh, China took our jobs. China didn't take a goddamn thing. They gave China those jobs. China come over here. Nixon went over there and gave China those jobs. China was a basket case. This was in the 70s. Nixon went over there and gave the China those jobs because they didn't want us to have them. Remember, he was Reagan's I forget who was who. He was Reagan's vice president, right? I forget. One was the other vice president. Because Reagan shut the program down. You understand? See what I'm saying here? So they made China powerful. Why? Because they want to have a war with China to get rid of you. But you understand that, oh, how you going to do it? Okay. You're going to find in a minute. And see here, look, I'm just giving some points, brothers and sisters here. whispering a slinking devil. See how they doing our women? See, it says they will come after the females. The females want to stay our nation, but they're more susceptible to emotion than we are. See? And so they gave our children the control of the female before, in the 60s before. See, as we start, I'm going to talk about it in a minute, as we start gaining control, that fear of our, so they start doing things to alleviate that fear. As we start seeing, we start getting control, they start undermining, trying to neutralize that control. So we, because the black man has control over his families in the 50s. Now you don't have control of them anymore. Every time you did, right? We're gonna talk about that in a minute. So, and they talk to her and tell all this stuff, and then she got your sons running around with braids on, and something so pathetic. I mean, they don't just have braids. Some of them got part like a woman, everything else, earrings, whole 9 yards. See? I ain't putting the woman down. I'm just saying they put her in control. And what is she going to do? How's she going to teach a man to be a man? She's going to teach to be a woman. She can't. What else can she do? She's a woman. All she knows is a woman. Even though she'll try her best the way she think a man should be, but still be a woman's perspective of what a man should be. Still come down to being a female. It'll come down to that. And so now these guys want to be like the woman. They want to be like their mama. Mama go and spend 5 hours getting hair braided. Hey. See? Back in '60s, daddy man said, "You crazy? I ain't got time for that kind of crap." And mama do, hey, man, you know. And we don't understand. And so now they're using our women against us. Whispering of the devil. See? And they got her naked. These devil females are the most wicked, evil. I mean, you can't tell the difference between a prostitute and a hoe. You can't. I mean, in the 60s you could, but I said, what's the difference? The prostitutes are angry because now they can't advertise. They can't advertise. They used to advertise. They walk around with their ass showing, everything else. Everybody knew that was a hoe, prostitute or a hoe or whatever. And now you can't tell. And you better not walk up on one of these women and say, "Hey man, oh man, then that's sexual abuse." You see what's going on here? And by you taking the vision of our women away, then what else they're going to do? Because they follow their example. And not only that, then you got the demons, female demons, that because they look just like them. Okay? And that it says, deal shrewdly with them, and the way to come after us, that's the story of Adam. They didn't come directly to Adam, it came to the female to get to Adam. That's what they're doing. I'm not putting on our women, I'm just saying, because women, she sat there, and part of it, our problem too. Right? Because she's sitting there, you know, gave her 2 or 3 babies, you know, took off somewhere. Then she left there with their babies, she got to control them, she got to feed them, everything else. Put welfare that she's doing that kind of stuff, Section F, she's doing that kind of stuff. So what was she going to do? You ain't there. And then, well, and then if you're there, you got another problem. Why should she respect you? Because you ain't doing any damn thing. You ain't protecting her. You have no vision for her. Her vision is to have more babies, you know, Popeyes and, you know, what. Anyway, move on. I'm just giving some points, brothers and sisters. See? They're coming after us through our women. See? And I'm going to talk about the trial that women have to go through, right? That's a whole nother topic I plan on talking about another time, but there's a lot more to it, right? See? But that's their target. And you're not giving a better example. You're not standing up. You tell what she should be doing. How are you going to tell her what she should not be doing when the devil's telling you what you should not be doing? You ain't controlling anything, so why she listen to you? Right? You're in a state of fear. Right? You're not taking her out of fear. In fact, you part of the reason why she's in fear. Okay, look at this. Now watch this carefully. Now the point is, I'm going to keep this short, brothers and sisters. The point is, that's us, right? And so we're under pressure. They got so much pressure on us. That's how much control they got. They got squeezed down to that little bit of space, right? Because the less space you have, the less control you have, right? So they got squeezed down to, well, they got just that little space in America. That's how much, that little bit of control. The only control we had doing heart causes, to control to breathe, right? Heartbeat, just to live. That's the only control we had. We didn't have control of that either. But they determine how long we live and whatever. I'm saying that's the only control we had. Our heartbeat and work. Okay, now watch this. Now, remember, they hate us 100%. Hate, right, comes out of fear. Right? Hate is 100% because they transform us 1%. Understand that. I'm trying to put these pieces together for you. Okay, now think about that. Okay, so they have total control over us because they hate us 100%. So they change 100%. You have to change them, you have to control it. So they control us 1%. So what's your name? I asked a brother the other day, he said, Jimmy King. I was trying to explain it to him, right? I said, they told. I said, okay, what's your name? What's your religion? But see, and then I ain't heard him in a few days. You understand? Okay, then what happens? I said, she changed the color? Because now you get more room, you get more control now. And so her hatred is increasing because she loses control over you. Remember, the actual size didn't get any bigger, but you just have more control of it. Understand that. Earth is not getting any bigger. See? This red thing didn't get any bigger. That's them. That's their control. That's their kingdom. But now you have more control in their kingdom. That means they have less control over you. That means the fear is increasing. The hatred is increasing. The hatred and the fear is increasing. Right? So what happens then? Oh, look, oh. Now she really hot now. See, because since so-called civil war, you're getting stronger and stronger. That's why it says in Mark, he broke his chains, nobody control him. If nobody, they couldn't control you anymore, that's why I say you gotta pay attention to it. If they say no one control him, that means they was in total fear of him now. If that was a total fear because they couldn't control him anymore. They said no one could control him. They said he had been in chains, but now, so that means, what's the backstory? That means now, well, they had him control, and they don't have control of him. That means their fear of them is intense now. Couldn't have control of him. At the point that he gets his mind back, the fear isn't because they don't control him anymore. Right? It's coming together. You understand? That's what you gotta. Well, I don't know. That you understand these stories. That's why they say stuff like what they said it. Right? But he was working against himself. He had to get his mind back, and then everything changed. See what I'm saying? So in other words, they're losing control. So now they get angry. But it says, don't let them know. We plan against them. We hate them. But we don't want them to know it. Because we plan against them in secret. Because I tell you, their hatred would not be, it would be hidden from you. They would hide their hatred from you. Let's deal with them shrewdly without them knowing it. Their hatred, because by definition, if you understand how pressure and everything works, their hatred as you went to civil rights, you went to Eurocentric, right? and they have less control over you, that means the hatred increase. And all of a sudden, remember, when do they come with abortion? They ain't come with abortion, right? And full-fledged until so-called civil rights movement, right? Then they had something before that. They had this thing called eugenics. That's another story, right? That was a way to, that was that woman that started, what's her name, Sally, whatever her name was. Eugenics. That was another way to get rid of you. But then they came in who started full force on abortion in the 60s. Because now you was getting control, abortion, and then got you out the house, put women in charge. All these prisons. Prison is another form of abortion, because you ain't making no babies in prison. In fact, you come out there, you probably want to make a baby yourself. I mean, you probably want somebody give you a baby. You see how these programs work? Because they're working against you. We patting you on the head. Oh, we with you. Clinton was good at that. But they're planning you in secret. They keep hiding for it because they're angry because they lose control of you. And so they got to find ways to neutralize it. And so that's what Trump is here for. He's going to change history. Or we're going to have to teach this black history anymore. We're going to teach something else. And now blacks get enraged with him. I told you there's going to be a war between them. That's another story. So at that point, flee. Because now, at that point, when they lose control of you, they say about to lose control of you, that's when they attack you. You put these things together, brothers and sisters? That's at the time you flee. Because at that time you come together, they lost control. So now they're, right? Their fear is off the page. Their hatred is off the page at that point. That's murder. Kill them. It's been there all the time. It just, right? It was hidden. And so in other words, there was dammed up hate, dammed up rage. See? And then once they lost control, then it comes out 100%. Kill them. That's how we get control again. And trust, that's what Trump lead them to. You think it's not going to happen that way, but that's what he lead them to. I hope you understand, brothers and sisters. That's why you have to flee, because they lose control of you. That means their fear increases. It says it's going to be under great fear. That's part of it. Why is it great fear? Because what they see over there, right, tells them they about to lose control. They lose control of you. Brothers and sisters, goes down. You put these things together, brothers and sisters. The heart's failing. But we know when that happens over there, do you ever put these things together? I don't believe you do. Because if you put the timing together, what happens over there, at the same time you have to flee here. So that fear is directed at you. Great fear coming in, what they going to do about it? Kill you. Now they expose it. They have no control, now just kill them. You ain't add subtraction, that's why I don't know. That's something you see right there. Why is somebody explain it to you? It says, we know when that happens, that same thing happened here. They get kicked out here, right? And that same they attack you. But so they're going to be under great fear. Why? What's the nature of the fear? What are they going to see? It's going to give them a heart attack. Because at the same time, that's when you don't have control of you anymore. You come together. And so you know it's about you, because that's when they attack you. Oh, let me move on, brothers and sisters. So I just don't have time for bullshit anymore. I never had time for it to begin with. Okay, criteria. Is that it? Now I'm going to close here. Yeah, I'm going to close here, please. Like I said, I'm going to talk a couple of things I'll probably elaborate on later. But as far as criteria right here, all this comes together. All this comes together. Because they plan on getting rid of you. And everything's coming into place right now. And false Israel knows that because they in all their secrets and everything else. That thing about the John Pollard or whatever his name was all about. Right? So they're in a rush. To get America to take out Iran so they can have trouble in the Middle East, so they could won't get America's wrath after they got rid of us. In fact, it even tells you that, and if you understand Genesis about Adam and Eve, that's what. All I'm trying to bring all these things together. I'm trying to get some points, right? Shake you up and see. But you know, some people, right? So I think I'm gonna close there, but let me see what here I got here. I got here. Oh. And another thing, you know, say playing games, but if you study about Suleiman, Sword the Lamb, I must have got rid of that. Hold on, bro, since I missed a couple of things here. Hold on for a second. Then we'll close out. I don't see that here. What happened to it? There. Yeah, what happened? Okay. I don't know what happened. I had some technical difficulties initially. Okay. And so, okay, that's one of the things right there. It says the Lamb is responsible for the entire planet. You have to take down the demons, the devils, the traitors, the goat, China, India, the dragon, all of it. That's what it says right there in the angel. That's Farrakhan. He don't even know where he is right now. He's going to know in a minute. We're going to wake him up. So we ain't going to let him go out with Alzheimer's and not knowing why he's getting his ass kicked. He going to know. That's responsibility. So you think you got time for your bullshit? That's responsibility. He asked for it. Who can make war with the Lamb? I mean, who can make war with the beast? Who's like the beast can make war with the beast? These 10 kings make war with the Lamb. You got to go home and take out Ishmael and Esau, and 2 brothers. That's the job ahead. Then you got to resurrect the Levites. That's what it says there. Now, you know somebody else supposed to be doing all this stuff? And that's what happened. And when they moved this, what Master Muhammad's going to make his move, it's going to blow up. I mean, it's blowing up over there now. Remember, any excuse me. Excuse me. The abomination of desolation means it's already started. It's just continuation of that. That's phase two. It's about to happen. And it's just them talking, it's going to happen. Because I tell you what's driving it. They can't stop it. So it's responsibility he has for it, but that's what has to be done. He's doing it. Right? And let's read next here and then close out. Like I said, paradise. Because the earth energized, that means it's going to be, earth and woman's going to be produce more. So stupid ideas like capital, all kind of stuff will not work. If be food, only problem is it's going to be so much. That's why we have to have servants, right? What they call those people that what they call those people that you call in to take care of your garden and all that kind of stuff. I forget what you call them. Right? That's why we said. Let me explain this and then I'm going to go. Actually, I'm going to use this to do it. Okay, see pressure here while I was doing this. Now the devil's putting so much pressure. They have enough pressure to crush us. They put so much pressure on who's transformed. They have enough to crush us. Right? So like in this situation here, well, let me go to the next page here. Explain this and go. See what happened? This is it. Previous. See, okay. See what happened? There's different levels, different structures. So this structure here, he was able to withstand the pressure. This one was right. The pressure overwhelmed by the pressure, and this was just crushed out of existence by the pressure. Right. So what it's saying is, when you put something under pressure, depends on their structure, how they respond to that pressure. If that pressure is greater than them. So what I'm saying is that, and that's why the devil's why they was told the law, discipline, because energy times discipline equals power, and power is pressure. So the thing is that when you look at it from strictly that point, from that point of view, I try to explain it. Study pressure, study vectors. From that point of view, right? Okay. The pressure of the planet right now is a certain pressure. Now the pressure is greater than you can withstand. That's death. That's when you really die. Not because of some medicine, commit suicide. The pressure was just too great, and you forced out of existence. I know it's because you don't understand that away, but that's what caused your death. And the external pressures were greater than so you was crushed out of existence. That's death. Or it's different levels of pressure. So in other words, you're under pressure, you crush out of existence, or you're oppressed, right? Because you're in a smaller space. When you're out of existence, you have no space at all. So you put this smaller space, like it did us. You understand that? So the thing is that when you understand from that point of view, the pressures right now, so if you got the 5 pillars, right? See? That means what? If you're applying them, and your pressure is greater than the devil's, then you putting pressure on them, you putting forcing them, they not putting on you. I mean, they're responding, but you control them, they don't control you. Well, I should say exactly like that. You have more control over them than they have over you. but they still exist. They still have some control over you, right? But you have more over them than they have over you, and your control is increasing. Like right now, the devils have more control of us than we have over them. But as our control is increasing, they become more fearful because now they're losing control. So we're still together. So both of us have, right? So they have less control of us, which means we have more control over them, but they still have more. Wait a minute, let me get oil. Okay, put it in numbers. Say their control is 100, and we down to 25. Then we got 25% control over them, but they got 75% control of us. You understand what I'm saying? So yes, right. So we get down to 50, then we got half and half. So both of us have, but now we have equal control. You understand what I'm saying? So we have some, because even in the Holocaust, we had some control. It's very little, because we're still alive. Maybe we had 1%. They had 99%. Hope you understand that. See? Because it's a balance. Right? Okay, so. The idea is that when the goat comes in here, he's going to represent, he represents consequence, but also he represents the control at the time. And the devils, because the discipline got so low, they had no control over it. They crushed out of existence. But some of them, because they're applying discipline, they follow the law to some degree, then they'll survive it. But they'll be oppressed, right? So in other words, instead of being, the goat has 100% and they have 0, the goat have maybe 75% and they have 25%. Being 25% means, right, they control them. That's why it says some be taken away in the captivity to all the nations. That's why it says that they said Suleiman would be the what's the word they use? See if I can find the exact word they use. I think it's the hope of the Gentiles, but that's the word they use here. So they use another name too. Okay. So in other words, right, they hold on to their Christianity. They applying the law. They say, well, I need this transgender stuff, all that kind of whatever, right? So they able to withstand the pressure, because you got to look at when the goat comes in. You look at the quality of it. They come in, kill and everything. Right. Well, okay. If you crushed, what's the quality of your crushing? That's what you got to look at. What's the quality of crushing? Your quality of crushing means you're going to get your head blown off. You're going to throw in the furnace, right? You got a biological weapon on you, right? You were thrown off the bridge. And still, you dead. So what's the how it happened? That's just the quality of it. So when they come in, right, they're going to rape, kill, murder, everything else. And the point of the qualities depends on who you are and the quality of your consequence, bottom line. But you still, if you don't have enough pressure, you'll be crushed. And then crushed means It's just the quality of the crushing. You're going to get blown up. You're going to get shot. You're going to whatever. Right? But so they got 100%. So they crush you out of existence. But if you got like 20%, then they won't crush you out of existence. So, right? I mean, that may be right. You're crippled or something. Hope you understand that concept. So that's why they'll be carried captive on nations, because they was able to have enough discipline. They had that protective, that law, that protective power around it, enough power to keep them being crushed, which translates to means they were taken into captivity. And they're under control. That's when you oppress, it means you're under control of somebody else. The more control they have over you, the more oppressed you are. Hope you understand the idea. See? That's what. So that's what that means. See? But it says that Suleiman, right, that Shah Shabazz, that was a nation under, right, said we become so powerful, so much discipline and everything else, that the pressure was so great that it's going to crush all the nations. They won't be able to withstand it. See? And so I'm going to talk a little more about another subject too, where it ties into this, right? And let's get back to our sisters again. I'm going to just touch on this. See, because they're coming after them on emotion, because we're emotional too, but they're more inclined, right? And they've been attacked. They've been attacking them, really hitting them hard with that, right? Because the bottom line is, I'm gonna wait till tomorrow. I want to really deal this really clearly. But the lessons talk about. It gives you hints. They don't understand those lessons. They don't understand them. It says that when the devils were pushing to Europe, it says our women, our sisters, right? Right? Well, I have sisters, Ishmael, right? So they feel sorry for them, and they hid the babies. See? And now that's why they're all white over there. See? So it's telling you that that's a problem. See? And so there's this subject about how the male and female interaction and how going in the future is very complicated. And I'm going to have to take some time to really just talk about that specifically, right? Because there's a lot more to it than I've already said already. There's a lot more to it. But the thing is that your thing is that the demons here. Who's the demons' mothers? Original women. Farrakhan's mother's original woman, at least it seemed like. You think she wanted him dead? Well, yeah, I guess she did. She tried to abort him. See, so I want to deal with that properly, because I'm trying to get you to understand quality. See, because the point is that quality makes a difference. See? I said, okay, it's like a person says, okay, I got to be executed. Which way you want it? You want fire? You want drugs? You want a gunshot? You're still going to be dead. Which way you want it? Okay? And the quality they're coming at us, if you understand that, then you understand how they come at us. Because you understand the quality. You know they're coming at us, but how? That's the quality side of it. How they come after our women. That's one way of coming at us, coming to our women. That's part of the quality of it. Right? Okay. So I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. That's something I wish I didn't have you talk about. But it's a lot more to it than I've said. I tell you, a lot more. A lot more. And our women are exposed to it. And by them being exposed to it, we're exposed to it, not children exposed to it. Because remember, abortion, they have to have children. And they have to have sons. They wanted to get rid of us out, destroy the seed. But they wanted to keep the women. What's that all about? Right? And so, if I talk to you strictly about vectors and pressure, I wouldn't have to have this conversation. We didn't have this conversation because they got you locked into quality, not mathematics. Quality is mathematics. And they put it this way. You know the demons got to be destroyed. You might do that mathematically. That's one of the issues I had. Caught me off guard. Right? But they deal with the quality of it, of destruction. And you get down to it and say, well, who's the demon's mothers? Uh-oh. And they got to be part of the destruction. How are they going to do that? See, the quality. That's what caught you. That concept didn't get you. The quality got you. That was a good at dealing with us because they've been studying for 40 years. And they got good at showing us, because they say, okay, I mean, when you go out there and you want to trap something, you want to find nature you're trying to, because you know it's only going to work, right? I mean, you want to poison something, you poison something else. When we poison for this thing, we'll poison something else. Right? So you want to find out, like the rat poison, okay, that it might not poison the dog, but it poison the rat. So they know exactly what button to push. Right? And that's one way of getting, I said this a long time ago, but I didn't really think it through at that time, but I said one of the things they're trying to do is, one reason the demons are trying to get demons into the hereafter. Undercover. If I said Solomon, they're not gonna be able to get him past him. But that's one of the things they're hoping to get, and they will get that with the help of the females, because that might be their son. Okay? You don't have to worry about the females, because the females are definitely, I'm talking about as far as seed, because they don't have the seed. So they can get, if they can get through everything else, they can. That's another story altogether. Hope you understand, brother. So I'm kind of like vague here because there's so much I don't want to spend. I don't want to get too deep into it. But this is the last trial. That's the last thing. Remember, the last thing they was doing was the last two tricks they were going to use is abortion and throw into the river. You don't know what throwing the river is. And they said, well, Nile River, no. And so that's a heavy help. And that'd be the last desperate trick they have. And it's going to work on a lot of our women. And by definition, it's going to work on you too, because you know. So I don't know, but I just have to leave that one alone. I mean, I talk about it because it caught me off guard, and I see the power of it, the shrewdness of it, the effectiveness of it, because that's very effective. I mean, in fact, abortion itself was effective. They convinced you that you couldn't afford to have that baby because your man was in jail. Why was he in jail? So then you're killing your babies. It's a lot to it, it's a lot more to it than that, brother. I don't know if I'm going to give a presentation on this or not. Because when it hit me, I said, oh man, I look at all these other stuff. I know they're playing against us. The quality of it. And when you get into that, it's very shrewd. And some things you never say, wow. if I point out to you. But that one right there, just think about that one. If we got to make sure we don't have the traitors and the demons, and we make sure they don't get in to pollute our nation, we almost got to fight with the sisters to do that. Now, we don't want to fight with them. We don't hurt them either. You see the dynamic that's building right there? It's going to be a problem. You don't even see you don't see the gravity of it yet. I understand it, and there's some more underlying stuff that goes with it. That's just, Elijah Muhammad kind of hint on it a little bit, because he said that in the end, he said the devils, they would take some kind of chemical or whatever, because they take this stuff now to make it look dark and everything else, and they come to the temple and they pull the brothers out. So they use their women. He said the last trick they would use with their women. But they're going to use our women. And it's hard not to be sympathetic with them. But be sympathetic with them, with our women on that one, means we let devils and demons into the kingdom. And traitors. And you see what happened to Ishmael? Over there all white now. Blue eyes and every damn thing else. And that could be a problem that lasts even after we get home. If we get through tribulation, even have to deal with Esau. You say, boy, brothers and sisters, ooh, when I thought about it, I said, okay, it's a lot deeper than you think. And I get back to Lot's wife. So that means we end up getting rid of a lot of our sisters. So I got, I'm gonna go, brothers and sisters. When Al called me for God, I said, oh. I didn't look at the quality of this thing. I looked at the quantity. I said, okay, yeah, let's get rid of them. And then hit me, wait, hold it. Demons have mothers. Who's their mothers? Original. Oh. Can they stand up and get rid of them? Some of the males. And they're like these people like Ishmael. They got children too. Oh, let me say this last thing. That's what. Let me close. I don't know what happened to it. I had a problem at the beginning. Stuff got lost. So hold on. Let me get this and close out. I don't know what happened in the process. Hold on. I may have talked about it, but I don't know. Let me see. Okay, yeah. That one. Where is it? That one. That one. That one. Where is it? I don't know what happened to it. Okay, I'll talk about it tomorrow. Okay, I can't find it. It was there. Not there. Right there. I don't know what happened to it. Oh, there it is, right there. Okay. There, right there. Do this real quickly, but it's just hold on. I've like the manage that. brothers, let me show you this real quick and close out. It's troubling. Because it's a quality, oh boy, anyway, let's go on here. Okay, see this right here? This is Malachi. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. This is Malachi. We're talking about mentioning the covenant and everything, right? And all the proud, yet all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up. Now, just talking about demons. So those are proud, right? Mr. calls the Son of Man and been all, right? So all proud and burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly and shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up. Then shall leave neither root nor branch. You got the same thing here where it says, "Fear not those that kill the body, but kill the soul." Tell me the same thing. Neither root nor branch. That means destroy their DNA. Just totally wipe them out. That's what's going to be necessary. See? And like I said, if you look at it from just a general perspective, yeah, we'll just get rid of them. But then they got this thing intertwined. Right? With our women on a very, very intimate emotional level. It's like blackmail. If you do this, I'm going to kill your mama. Oh, man. If you don't do what I tell you, I'm going to kill your mama. And you know what they tell you to do is wrong, but you don't want to kill your mama. I don't know if you understand what's going on here. This is part of their plan. Right? Because a lot of our women is saying we got to kill him emotionally, turn him into Lot's wife in order to get the demons. Am I making it clear enough for you, brothers and sisters? That's just an aspect of it. And a lot of women are going to go because of that. That's what it is. They use it as hostage. I'm hiding behind your women. Now you take me, you want to get me, you got to get them. You want to get me, you got to get them. When you get my son, you got to get them. On a very emotional level. And that's the most emotional attachment every woman has. Giving birth to something 9 months. I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. It's a lot more to it than I'm saying, but ooh. I'm trying to make you understand. These people are not playing. That's just truly. That's just one of them. There's some more. But this is one of them. Let's think about that for a minute. That's not going to be solved overnight. So that means what happens? It's going to happen. We're getting rid of them. We're getting rid of these demons and Ishmael and this seed and all. Well, they all gone. But what's the impact? What kind of scar is that going to leave? I was so busy doing all the things, I never even looked into it. I looked into it, I said, oh, what the hell? Just like when I looked at the angel. I go in there and I said, oh man, what the hell is this? Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters.